Welcome back to Trashback Builds. I've chopped a car in half. Obviously did it very safely with the correct PPE, etc. And then I printed these like group of hexagons, just made them up on Blender quick. My idea is to make kind of like a portal, like a car jumping through a portal. I got the idea from the bit, there's a thing in the book, experimental teleportation device, and I figured it'd be cool to make something to represent that. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of green stuff. You know the coup. And then I'm just going to roll it into like a little sausage shape. Apologies for the wobbly camera here. And I'm just going to apply some of these little sausages just around the edge. Literally just going to squish it on here like this. And then I'm going to start working it in just so there's like a bit of a seam. Yeah, looks pretty good. And you know what else looks pretty good is leaving a like and subscribing on this video. It really helps out the channel. And then I'm just going to get a bit of old matchstick here. I just had it literally on my desk and I'm just going to flatten it in. We'll make sort of like ridges with the texture just to give it a little something something. But yeah, ultimately that is what I wanted to do. It's looking pretty good. Did a little bit more smoothing, texturing, just spreading it out a bit just to make it look like it's kind of gripping the car as it came through. This I knocked up on Blender. This is my idea of what the teleportation device is. When I was designing it, I kind of had time machine in my head, which I know it's not strictly true, but perhaps the teleport thing is like a sort of time travel jump or something. But anyway, so I made this on Blender, and I'm going to stick it on the front here like this. I sort of went for like a kind of almost steampunky-esque. I wanted those little like bulbs on the top there. Kind of like a, what are they, vacuum tubes or something? And then this was just a bit of leftover green stuff that I had, so I just rolled it out into sort of a couple of cable shapes and stuck it relevant places, just looked like the machine was plugged in somewhere. And then on the sides there, they are spell effects. I think they're Deadly Print Studios, but I can't quite remember. I just scaled them down and stuck them on there, just so it had looked like it had a bit of life to it. Gives it a bit of an idea of motion as well. Adds to the idea of a bit of movement. So yeah, just the boring old prime it black, you know the deal. Just going to spray the old lot black. Then I'm going to give it like a sort of zenithal, just to pick out some details. The back is textured just incidentally, but I think it actually looks kind of cool. So for the actual painting, I had a bit of a mental idea. I thought I use speed paints, even though notoriously they're not very good on flat panels. But what I figured was it will make a nice little undercoat so that I could then do another yellow over the top with non-speed paint. So yeah, I'm just going to whack it over there. Also, it does add a little bit of shading additionally to the sort of zenithal that we did earlier. Oops, trying not to get any tea staining or like pooling, spreading it out. Alright, we're going to do a bit of bright red for the interior seats. It was just screaming red to me. Like a sort of crazy taxi vibe. And again, if there's a little bit of pooling and staining here, it'll probably just look like weathering. A bit of shading. And also it'll get in the recesses of that leather. Alright, next is a silver for the silver bits. I've just used a bit of lead belcher here, a bit of watered down lead belcher. Just going to do all the panels, all the silvery things. I'm going to paint the machine as well. Just base it all in silver. Try and avoid those little bulbs at the top because I will paint them separately. Next, just straight up black speed paint over the cables. Now I'm going to do the kind of like barrel-y bit of this teleport machine in a brass. This is brass scorpion GW. Or Citadel paints. Yeah, just to add a bit of a kind of steampunky kind of vibe. Not quite sure what I'm going for, not quite sure what I'm channeling. It's one of those things where you have the image in your head. You can't really find a reference, you don't really know where you've got it from. Definitely got it from somewhere. But yeah, so I'm just going to do a little brass thing here. Now I'm going to try and paint the little interior bit here that in my mind I envisioned as like a clock or like a ticking thing. Maybe like the DeLorean in Back to the Future, or like an old school kind of, I don't know, ticking time bomb clock thing. And then as you can see what we're doing here, this is just for the lightning. We've painted it white, and then we're just going to do some blues over the top, leaving the white kind of in the center. And then we're going to mix a bit of that white with a bit of that blue, just to get a sort of lighter shade. And we're just going to do like the tops and the tips, just kind of drag the brush along with it. As long as you keep kind of the lightest colors towards the center, it'll look fine. And then we're just going to use some speed paints on the dude in here. It's just some peachy flesh for the skin, to try and get his little hands here. And then we're going to use a purple speed paint. I forget the exact name. My apologies. And I'm just going to make him purple, just to make him stand out. Right, next we're going to break out the old makeup sponge. Use a little bit of Flash Kits yellow, and I'm just going to sponge this on over the top. Might need a couple of layers. It doesn't really matter if it's a little bit rough. Like I always say, it is Gaslands. It's supposed to be kind of post-apocalypse. But we'll still try and make it look nice. I think it was about here that I realised it actually looks quite nice to keep it as like a gradient. It was sort of an unintentional kind of pivot. Or it was laziness. But I think it was because I thought it looked good. So just going to do a quick little bit of tidy up. And then we will move on to the next stage. Right, next I'm going to hit the portal with a little bit of shamrock green. I really love this colour, it's proper vibrant. I'm going to try and hit the back of the dude and the car dash with the green as well, so it looks like there's a bit of a glow. Now I'm going to paint these little bulbs. 2 green, 1 blue, 1 red. Sort of as if you've got 2.5 energy things left. I don't know. You've depleted 1 of your 4 and you've got half left of 1. That's what I was kind of thinking, you know. Alright, quick tidy up on the headlights. I'm just going to do them white. So the next day, I was looking at it, I sort of tried to dab a little pattern on it, try and get a bit of a texture. I didn't really like it. So I 3D printed this kind of hexagon mesh, and I'm going to try to sort of airbrush a kind of hexagonal pattern. This is the part where I probably ruin it, but you know, you don't know if you don't try, do you? And you can always repaint it. So you're just testing it with a little bit of that off-white, and then hitting it with a green again, just so it blends back in. And then I'll do a little bit of manual tidy up with a brush, and we'll just see how it looks. And then the one last little thing, I've been painting up these tiny little dogs and cats for various other projects that I've got coming, and I figured the guy did look kind of lonely on his own, and so let's give him a little doggy companion. And then we're going to try to stick him in here. It was at this point where I get my usual case of the kits and just dropped a lot of super glue on there and kind of pushed him in with a toothpick till I got him right. And you know what? I feel like it really ties the whole thing together. Look at that, his little mate. And it was about this point I was ready to call it done. And as always, if you've enjoyed what you've seen here, please do remember to like and subscribe. We've got plenty more videos to come. Until then, see you next time.